In the 80s and especially towards the late 80s, the ever-growing and rapidly changing MTB market needed a reply from the old players. Campagnolo, Simplex, Mavic suddenly needed to adapt to survive. Mavic released the Goa Dakar group, which comprised of derailleurs, hubs, headset, seat post, and then there are these shifters. These are the 825. However, you'll notice there are some subtle differences. These are actually simplex shifters. Mavic most likely had many parts made by Simplex to complete their group. And you can see that these are most likely Simplex with the melange of plastic and metal, a bit synonymous of Simplex derailleurs. So today I'm going to show you what's inside of them and any details that I find interesting. You'll notice that the color is not the same as on the Mavic shifters. The Mavic shifters are black. At the end of the wishbones you have these plastic grips, no doubt to protect your poor fingers from ripping against the metal. Underneath here you can adjust the hardness of your shifting using these butterfly adjusters. I've also undone a bolt here so that you can see the arm that comes back as there's an integrated spring. I think I'm going to open it up just to give you an idea of what's inside. There's two bolts here to undo from what I can see. Number 4. So we're going to undo this part and remove this screw. We undo this and you'll see here that there's a spring. Okay, so I didn't know this. From what I can tell, there's a spring in one and not in the other. I should imagine that this is possibly for the middle derailleur, but let's find out. Could be wrong. Okay, yeah. So on one side there is no spring, and on this side there is. Spring is maybe for the middle derailleur, for lifting it back up and down more easily, whilst the other shifter is for the rear derailleur. That through usage, these plastic parts that are sticking out here that essentially do the indexing part would wear down and no longer be able to hold the cable tension. No doubt this is one of the reasons why Simplex just simply faded into history at the beginning of the 90s, and so Mavic could no longer buy and make parts from them, which meant that they also could no longer make a MTB group. Yeah, so overall interesting little shifter. I can't imagine that this would last very long in usage with the plastic part here that keeps the end of the derailleur cable in place. Also, I'm not too sure this plastic part here lasting either, although I have seen a ton of Simplex derailleurs that probably coming from the 60s, 70s, made out of plastic and still working, so who knows. I guess you'd have to use these and find out really. So thank you for listening.